Hey everybody, it's Yasmin here. I have a special card for you today. But first of all, I just want to tell you a little story about being in the spiritual closet. Now, this is something I actually first read about in the book by Rebecca Campbell, Light is the New Black. I don't know if it's a long thing that people have talked about being in the spiritual closet, or if it's something that my lovely friend Rebecca Campbell invented. But I remember reading her book and thinking, yeah, I'm not really in the spiritual closet. And the thing was, I never used to be in the spiritual closet. I used to live, when I first started meditating and getting into chakras and astrology and so on, I used to live at Bondi Beach in Australia, which is like, honestly, along with Byron Bay and Glastonbury and Sedona, is probably one of the kind of spiritual centres of the world. Like, you don't think of it when you live there in Bondi particularly. It just seems like cafe culture and cool people going surfing and all that kind of stuff. But actually, it's a really cool spiritual place. And we used to have quite an amazing spiritual community. Where we lived, we used to hold fire pujas. We had like this side door exit thing. We'd just send people down the side door that all pour into the courtyard, and we'd do pujas, and I would be helping light the fires, and we'd be chanting and all this, and I learned to meditate in Sydney and so on. So I never ever considered myself to be in the spiritual closet, because my existence revolved around my spiritual activities in some ways, and a lot of my best friends were kind of a part of my spiritual tribe, my spiritual group. And all that kind of changed when we moved to London, because we moved to a place called Fulham. And I don't know if you know Fulham, but Fulham is not like Byron Bay or Sedona or Glastonbury. It's actually very sort of it's a great place. We lived there for 5 years and I loved it. This is not a criticism of Fulham, but it's a very sort of white bread, middle class kind of place. There are no people wandering around in midriff tops with pierced belly buttons on their way to a chanting session, or not that I discovered in 5 years of living there. And the other thing that happened when we moved to Fulham was my son started a new school. And it's a beautiful school. And please, I'm just going to say again, don't get me wrong, I actually loved living in Fulham. It was lovely. You know, I'm not criticizing it at all. I'm just saying it didn't have that kind of cosmic hippie vibe. It just doesn't. It has a kind of more of a, hey, hello, would you like to come over for a cup of tea kind of vibe? But that's fine. I loved living there. It was cool. Or not cool. It was fun. It was nice. Nice is a good word. Anyway, I digress. So Louis started in about grade 3 or something, and so anyway, a couple of years later, it was really when he was about to finish primary school. I remember I was actually out shopping in London, and you know, this primary school was in this lovely little kind of Fulham place, all very nice and all this, and I was actually out shopping, and it's not very glamorous, but I'll tell you, I was actually at Primark, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of quite a cheap shop, but you get some really nice things there, and you know, everyone goes to Primark here in England, I suppose. I don't know, I do sometimes. And I was at Primark, and the point is, it was Primark, so these things weren't very expensive. So what I was doing wasn't like this massively indulgent thing. It was sort of like, well, they're quite cheap, they're quite nice, they're quite cheap, blah, blah. So what it was that I had found these wraps, okay? So, you know, like wraps that you wear. So they were sort of, you know, they're big square things, and you just kind of wrap them around you, and they're very nice, especially for the English autumn and spring, when, you know, the trans-seasonal, as they call it. And I found these 2 wraps. They were both really nice, and one had this kind of South American kind of alpaca vibe. It was like beige with, I think, one sort of brown line, soft line through it, and maybe a thinner line, and it had a kind of, made me think of, you know, when you go trekking through, I don't know, Machu Picchu or something, that, you know, the kind of things that the men who are guiding you might wear, that kind of vibe. And I thought, well, that's really nice. And then the other one from the same range was sort of like, you know, Burberry. So Burberry is a really super duper upmarket brand here in the UK. It's I mean, if it had actually been a Burberry wrap, it probably would have cost something like, you know, £500 or £600, which is, you know, like more than $1,000. This was Primark though, which is quite, like I said, it's a very well priced place, let's put it like that. And so it had this sort of Burberry feeling about it. Sort of Burberry has, if you see a Burberry trench coat ever, they cost like thousands of pounds, and they have this lovely sort of Burberry material inside, which you do see knockoffs of on you know, street corners, on, you know, in places where they sell knockoffs of stuff. Anyway, so the second wrap had this sort of upmarket Burberry feeling. And so what actually happened with these two wraps basically gave me a bit of an awakening and made me realize that I was actually in the spiritual closet. So having been in Bondi, where I was not in the spiritual closet at all, and not thinking of it, suddenly I realized. Anyway, so what it was I thought, okay, well, maybe I could wear the kind of nice upmarket Burberry style wrap when I do the school run, you know, and I'm kind of being a school mum. And then I can wear the one I actually really like, which is the kind of slightly cosmic alpaca-y style, South American style one. I keep throwing it metaphorically or imaginary around my shoulder. And I can wear that one, the one I actually really like, when I'm just being me, when I'm being the real me. And I was like, oh my God, that is so weird. How could I have like two wardrobes? One for like cosmic me and one for school mum me. And I thought, that's wrong. There's some kind of schism there. So that's when I decided that I wasn't going to do this anymore. I wasn't going to be in the spiritual closet anymore. I wasn't going to try and pretend. I mean, part of it was sort of not wanting to be too weird for my son's friends' mums, because it was actually it was a school combined of a local Catholic school and the French school. The French school is non-denominational, but there was this sort of Catholic influence, and, you know, Catholics, sometimes, I'm an ex-Catholic, sometimes they're a bit like, oh no, astrology, oh my God, she's a witch, burn her. Anyway, so I thought, you know what, I'm actually not going to do this anymore. I'm going to come out of the closet. Louis had been at school long enough by this stage, and I thought, you know, like, I can't kind of walk around trying not to be me. So slowly but surely I decided to come out of the spiritual closet. And the funniest thing was that all the school mum friends that I had made, as I sort of said to them, yeah, you know, like, because I actually do astrology and I've written these books. I don't know, I'd kind of fudged it like I'm a writer and just maybe not gone into it or whatever, and certainly didn't say, you know, I do chanting under the full moon in the backyard every full moon, or, you know, whatever. And I sort of came out of the closet and I told them. But the funniest thing was, they all said, oh my God, Yasmin, do you think we didn't know? Which really amused me, because it made me realize I thought I'd been quite subtle and quite secretive and managed to get away with being, you know, a bit weird, a bit different from the average, you know, normal person. And they were like, Yasmin, come on, we all know exactly what you're like. Don't worry about it. It's all fine. In fact, you know, like, come and teach us how to chant. So there you go. So that was a little story that I thought I would share with you today, because I drew this card yesterday. You may have seen the live. If you didn't, I'm glad you're watching this now. So as you may know, I have spent the last couple of weeks doing, first of all, my free Manifesting with the Moon 3-part series that we did. Then I offered you 50% off my Moonology certification program for those of you who are healers and work as healers and want to sort of augment your practice. Well, that is now over. With the 50% offer is now closed, I'm afraid. However, if you have been thinking that you would still like to learn about Moonology, learn how to work with all the new moons and the full moons, but you don't want to teach it, that's not your thing, you know, you don't need to get certified, well, I'm going to say this card is for you, okay? Because I drew this card saying this is for anyone who has bought or is going to buy my Moonology course, okay? And I'm, you know, the truth is, when I did that, I do these things live and I'm like, oh my God, what card is going to come up, because, you know, it would be quite weird if I said this card is for anybody who's about to do my certification course, and I got actually a card that happens to be on the top of the deck, something like nothing will come of the matter. So that would be a bit weird. So if you are thinking about doing my Moonology non-certification course, it's actually called The Magic of Moonology, then this card is definitely also for you. So if you're thinking about doing the course, put in the comments, this card is for me, or I'm thinking about doing the course, or whatever you like. Just give me a like or a heart or a whatever. All right, so are you ready for the card? I'm getting a few likes and hearts popping up. Okay. Is this card for you? Are you thinking about maybe you've bought the course or you're thinking about doing the course? And I will tell you, it's 50% off. This is the non-certification. Only costs, it's ridiculous, quite frankly, $99. It's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of information for $99. And I've put the link there. It's moonmessages.com/moonlove. Okay, if you're thinking about doing this course, but you're like, is that really me? I don't know. Is it a bit weird? Will my friends think I'm weird? So a bit like I was worried with the real me. Are you ready? And the card we got is, are you ready? Whew. Show the world the real you. Show the world the real you, which is exactly what I then finally decided to do. Show the world the real you. Do the course if you're interested, if you love the idea of knowing all about the new moon in Aries and the new moon in Sagittarius and the new moon in Capricorn and what it all means, and the full moon and how to, you know, work with all the different moons. You don't want to be certified, that's fine. You don't want to teach it, you just want to know it for yourself, for your friends and your family. Do the course. The price doubles in about, I don't know, 12 hours or something. Don't miss out. I've already had emails from people saying they missed out on the certification, and when it's done, I'm afraid. moonmessages.com/moonlove. The link is above, and I am going to say, show the world the real you, because you know what? The world needs more people chanting under the full moon. It does. It needs more people who understand that setting intentions at the time of the new moon actually causes massive change in people's lives. And we need that, whether you're single and you just want to change your own life, you know, or you have kids and you're even one kid or more kids and you want to teach them to be more powerful as they go out in the world. They need to understand this stuff. They need to understand that they have more power than they might know, and they need to start to learn about the power of setting intentions, which we do in Moonology every new moon. And they also need to learn about how important it is to just let SHIT go at the full moon. Okay, so do yourself a favor, do everybody in your life a favor, show the world the real you, and take me up on this offer. $99 for the course. Honestly, it's crazy. I think the course is worth, at least $400 or $500, at least. It's packed with information. It's packed with decades of my learning and ancient wisdom. So show the world the real you. Link is in the description if you want to take me up on the offer. $99 to get the course, and the discount goes away overnight and it doubles overnight. So there you go. There you go. Lots and lots of love, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you liked my spiritual closet story. Come out of the spiritual closet and let's all chant under the full moon. The link is above. Lots of love, guys.